August is that point of the year where we get a lot of things that we've been harvesting that will start to finish, and then we'll move on to sowing new things to harvest later on in the year. So as things like this end, something new has to begin, so we can maintain food harvests for as long as possible before we get hit by winter. And early August for me is the time to start and sow Christmas potatoes. You basically want to get something like a first early or a second early potato, either shop bought organic or ones that you saved from your original harvests, maybe back in June. And you just need to allow them to get chits on. That just gives them a bit of an head start. And people do plant them outside in containers, but I'm going to put in mine in a greenhouse, so they've got a more consistent temperature leading right up until Christmas week, which will then allow them to grow a lot better. And by the time these are ready, all this will have gone, but we'll still have something in this greenhouse growing on, as well as salad leaves and spinach. So I'm basically going to be putting them in a small container like this. It's not huge, but it's big enough. But we need to bear in mind that we're only growing small potatoes, not big ones. So something like this and a couple of seed potatoes is going to be just right. So basically what I'm going to do is, got this tub, it's all full of compost. I'm going to loosen it all up a little bit first. Obviously potatoes like growing in loose soil. And then I'm going to amend it with some fish blood and bone. Where possible, we don't want to be spending money on fresh bags of compost to get a few potatoes at the end of the year. So I recycle my compost and then, as you've just seen, amend it with fertiliser. And then we'll just dig that in. So then we just want to take the potato with the chit at the top, and then we'll bury it virtually down to the bottom of this container. Just allow for a few inches from bottom. So I'll just make a nice deep hole, and then we'll put that potato right down, chit up, and cover it over. And I'm going to be putting 2 in this size container. So right down to the bottom as far as you can get. Doesn't need to be right at the very bottom, but as close as. Chit up, cover it over. And that's basically your Christmas potatoes planted. All you need to do now is wait for them to surface. And obviously that is going to take quite a while, because they've got a lot of distance to travel. And you want to be doing them in August, because as a rule you would use something like a first or second early potato for your Christmas potatoes, because they only take somewhere between 15 and 17 weeks to grow. So with it being August, to get potatoes by Christmas, you need to be doing them over the next couple of weeks. And we'll give that a bit of water, but we won't keep it wet through, because if you do, you run the risk of rotting that potato. But just dampen it and monitor it, since it's going to be kept in a greenhouse personally for me, because I want to make sure they get as good a head start as they can. And I've shown you this one that I've done, but I will be doing about 3 or 4, and I think 3 or 4 is going to be plenty. And maybe later on in the year, maybe try and experiment with potatoes in pots in the greenhouse after Christmas, and see if we can get any to come to fruition by spring. Anyway, thanks for watching this video. I hope you try some Christmas potatoes yourself. As I said, if you haven't saved any of your first early or second early potatoes, then you can go to a supermarket and you can buy a bag of new potatoes for £1 and just let them chip first. Don't put them straight in as they are. Just keep them somewhere that's cool and light until you see these little chits starting to grow, and then you can plant them just like this, and then expect an harvest of new potatoes just in time for Christmas dinner. If you want to see how these potatoes and a few other things we're going to be planting over the next couple of months for autumn and spring harvest next year, then please just hit that subscribe button and press that notifications bell, and we'll see you at next update. You all take care. Thank you very much for watching.